North America. And we stretch around the world, from Canada to Australia. You can see it there. Okay, next. Push. I want to introduce you to my team. First of all, we start with two island countries, Ireland and Australia. They're very limited in their number. Ireland has no MLC. Australia has no MLC, but they have very active lay Marinists. 2 in Australia, 6, in Ireland, and 6 in Australia. So what do they do to form community? What do? They go virtual. We've talked about virtual. These 2 women, along with 6 others, have been in community, virtual community, for 17 years. Very active. Over 4 continents, 6 countries, and they have met every weekday in Lexio for 10 years, and they only met face-to-face twice as a community. And they are active, and every way you can consider being active as a true community. One of them is here, Susan, yes, Susan Buckley from Ireland. She read one of the readings today. So they are here to represent North America. She represents North America, and she represents virtual communities, because there are many virtual communities, as Nidia talked about, how important that is. And as we dream about, dreaming about our future, remember virtual. Sometimes when you live in places like North America, where we're far from Marinist centers, the way lay Marinists connect is by virtual. And we have to make those great, solid communities. Okay? So don't forget virtual. All right, next. Now we have Canada, and we have José Roberge, and she is the national responsible. Now they are doing something new. The SM used to be head of the Marinist Center there. Wonderful Marinist center, but the Marinists have been aging, and they have actually left residents there. And so they have now a collaboration with the lay Marinists, who direct now and taken over direction of the Marinist Center. Now Father Gilbert still comes back to visit, and I don't know, he may be in residence there somewhat, but it is now the laity that has taken over the center. They do, and so they have one lay community and 25 members. But that's a nice collaboration, and it's showing that as the SM are getting older, at least in some places in the world, that they are depending on us as lay people to begin to step up and into collaborative relationships to begin to continue the good works and the things that they are doing. Very important as we dream in the future. All right, next. Please, thank you. So the Marinist Center that they have now, they do formation sessions, as you can see in one of the pictures, and summer retreats. Next picture. Sorry, if I knew how to do that, okay. Back. Okay. And the other thing they're doing that's very interesting, because they live in a lovely place in Quebec, and it's very forested. So they're doing paths. They're forming paths of evangelization within their forests. And the idea is to help people see that they can reach God and touch God in the creation of nature. And they have one pathway. They have prayer signs up along the path. And they can touch God in many, many different ways. They have summer, that you can reach, these paths work in the summertime, and you can see that they also reach in the winter. So all year round. Next. Oh, I forgot to say, their challenge is formation. And that is when the pandemic came, it was very difficult to do formation because people weren't coming to the center. And so, go back, if you would, please. Back. There you go. It was very difficult to do the formation. And I suppose people could walk on the paths. That might work. But they were sending out booklets of formation materials, thinking that would help the MLCs, their lay Marianists, but it was hard to keep track of things. So their challenge and their priority for the future right now is to really, now that the COVID is sort of calming down, is to really go back to the formation and make it more rigorous, and see that the formation is renewed. And they have a good start on it from these booklets that they've been passing out, but they will make it more formal in the future. All right, next one. First picture. No, just one at a time. Back two. Just one at a time. Thank you. All right. Now I'm to U.S. leadership. I want to introduce you to Margie Lysyjak. She is our national responsible for U.S. She's also the leader of MLC-NA. So we have combined, like Nidia has a Latin America council, we have a North American council. So Margie Lysyjak is the chair of the council, but because she's also chair of the council, she's the responsible for the U.S. Next is Matt Dunn. And Matt is was the previous responsible, and he came out of the Korean Assembly, and he was the one that really helped. Well, I must say that the Korean Assembly really inspired us, and he was the leader at that time. And we did so much during that time that we renamed ourselves. We said, we're not just a network of communities. We are a community for our communities. We are the ones that are providing resources. We're helping them build communities. We're helping them understand what it is to be a community. We're offering services so that when we have these active laity, they're in places that are isolated. So we're providing services so that they can, be community. They're telling me to speak slower, sorry. So he was very, very important for that start in our journey. Next, we have a new young person who has just gotten to be appointed director, and that is Sarah Gray over there. And she is director of Marianist Social Justice Collaborative, and that is like Acción Marianistas in, is that in Latin America? Oh, and in Spain. It's in Spain, and that's very active. So, all right. So that's what Sarah does, and it shows that we're really trying. One of the things we started right from Korea was to promoting young people in important positions and encouraging them to take up these kinds of things. So our numbers, well, we have 56 MLCs, and for this assembly, we're counting 106 laity. You can. We renamed ourselves, and we also restructured leadership under Matt's leadership, starting with the offices, looking at what Chaminade did. So we thought about succession. How do we get good leadership so we don't just elect here and elect there, and you don't have good succession when you have good ideas and then somebody new comes in and has different ideas. So we had started having a chair-elect who works a year before they become elect, and they get to know the culture of our team before they become the chair, and they get to know what we're already working on and what we're excited about before they come in to be chair. And that's become very successful. Okay, next one. Thank you. All right, I want to introduce our young adults, and that was one of our priorities. Jack Dalton, and Jack is here in the background because, like me, he tested positive, but he's here. And then we have Eric Rodriguez from Texas. And then we have Kateri Dillon, and she is from Ohio, and she is the assistant director for the Office of Spirituality on our leadership team, young adult. And finally, we have Andrew Ancheta from Hawaii. Talent spotting became a priority, and not all of, but we really tried to put them in positions that are interesting, that we try to get to know what they're interested in, and then try to put them in positions that they want to do. Okay, next one. I know, you're getting tired. Formation. From Korea, formation was important. We'll go through these quickly. An online course. We found that online courses were better than drive-in, because when people came drive-in, then they would go home, and if they didn't have a community to go to, then they were just laity, but they didn't have a community. When you had an online group, you had a community that you built because you took the program together. And so anyway, online is working well. Then we placed mentors. That's brand new. Margie's been doing a lot of work with that. And then the newest thing is we're going to our schools where we have school people and where we have our ministry groups, and there's lots of laity working in this, and they're really interested in it. So then we're going there and talking to them about forming communities. If you're doing this work, you're attracted to our charism. Let's form communities within your work that you're doing. All right, next one. Sustainability. Rob talked about that. We redesigned our web. We did a new database and cleaned it all up. Took out all the people who were inactive and had died. And that improved our fundraising because we started contacting the people on the list, which we hadn't contacted. And we started telling them what we were doing, and then they were happy to give us money. And then we told them we were hiring people to help them. We hired a new director and for MSJC, and we hired a new director for MLCNA. And our last one is, we talked about from Korea, was focus on poor and marginalized. And we had 3 things there. 3 new things from the Social Justice Collaborative. One was systematic racial training that came out of Black Lives Matter. We had a prayer service for the Marinist family. Our brothers in the province made a courageous decision to release the names of the sexual abusers from the province over the past 50 years. It was a very courageous decision to make. And we had the laity had encouraged them to do this. And it was very difficult. And so the laity, we had a national prayer service that we had at the time of the release. And I have to tell you, it was a moving moment for all of us. It meant so much to the laity that they would do this to help the victims move on. And it was well attended, and it was a powerful, powerful experience, and quite one of trust between the province and our lay branch. So that was a powerful experience. And the last one, we have an LGBT video that we released that helped our communities and our parishes understand how to welcome LGBT without judgment. So the thing is, we're not afraid. We're not backing away from, as Nidia said, we don't back away from difficult conversations to help people think about how do we do these kinds of things through Mary's eyes. And that's a powerful thing I think we as communities can do. Right, I think we're getting towards the end. One or two more. Yeah. Okay, so our challenges are our priorities. Financial stability, growing adult relationship leadership, and helping laity find community life. Thank you.